what's going on, guys? I'm Bock from Bock's Garage, and I thought I'd do something a little different nowadays. We got a couple projects got to work on, and I thought I'd put it up live, show you guys what I'm doing. So, might be a little weird at first, gonna try to get accommodated to this, but I'll keep you guys filled in. Also got Figgy Bears underneath here, I don't know if you see her, and I'll give you a little rundown of the setup. I got my toolbox over here with all the goodies. Got Figgy underneath making noise. In front of me, I got you guys, and a computer screen that lags probably 35, 40 seconds behind, so it's very awkward to see. And then over here, I have a laptop that I might pull closer, and that's so I can read any comments that you guys leave. It's just a little easier. So I'm gonna try that, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, that's not too badly in the way. So if there's any comments, hopefully I'll be able to see them there. But yeah, get started in a minute. You're working on some project, right, Figgy? Good girl. So if she gets too annoying, I'll probably move her inside, but for now, we'll give her a chance. But tonight, I'll show you what we're working on. This is the steering box from the Bronco, my Powerstroke Bronco. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. If you're not, it's got a 7.3 Powerstroke in it, 1-ton axles, hydro assist, hydro boost, pretty much the works. And I was out at Rausch Creek 2-3 weeks back, and as you can see, I snapped off the steering shaft. So yeah, that was no good. Luckily, I was able to go out and find a replacement box at Advanced Auto, and they kind of like DoorDashed it to the off-road park, so that was great, got me out of the woods. That box is fine, and I can keep running it, but the issue is, I don't know if you can see it, but this box is tapped for a hydro assist ram, which makes moving the 44s around a lot easier. Alright, cool. I just want to make sure everything's going good on that. So with the steering, it is night and day difference moving around those tires with the truck that heavy. So I need to get that back. So there's a couple of ways of doing that. I could go and send out the steering box that I had as a replacement to get drilled and tapped, and it's pretty expensive, it's a few $100. Or I could drill and tap it myself, which is another option. I've never done it before. I don't think it's that hard to do. What's up, Biggie? I mean, it's probably not easy, but I mean, it can be done. But my thought was I had a parts truck out back, and I can take the box from that, steal the good steering shaft, and then go put it in this box. I went and talked to the guys at Blue Top Steering Gear, and yeah, they said it's not too hard to swap those shafts out. So that's what I'm going to try and do. And since I'm out here doing it, I'm like, you know what, let me try to set up, see if you guys can watch it carry along, and we'll see how that goes. So, yeah, we'll get to it. I think first thing I'm going to try to do is deal with this one, take this one apart. At least then I know any tips and tricks before I get to the one that I actually want to deal with. I also need to go through, probably clean this one up a bit, take the holes so I don't get any gunk in there if I haven't already. And yeah, go from there. Does look clean though, so that's cool. Yeah, be good to get that done because I am planning an off-road trip in a couple weeks, so be good. What are you doing, little gremlin? You want to help with steering box? No? Probably not. So, yeah, I'll set that one aside. I'll put it in this bag to try to keep any gunk from getting on it for the time being. And then we get to working on it, we'll tape it up. And these are the little fittings that go in there. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Before I do anything with this, actually, I'll let you see this. These studs are still in here. One there, and that one's also there. This is broken off flush. The reason this truck became a parts truck is because the steering box was ripped off the frame. So that was kind of nifty. It was a plow truck back in the day. So yeah, it took some abuse, I guess. Oh, and I got these hoses sitting here too. If any of you guys follow on the channel, this hose is for my high pressure power steering, and it goes to my hydro boost brakes. And I had to go and put together a few different fittings to be able to adapt to a 6AN to whatever the stock Ford line was. And this always kind of worried me. I was afraid it would end up leaking, you know, loose fluid, burn out my pump on the trail. And since I had to pull my steering boxes, I thought this would be the perfect time to go and upgrade this. So what I did was I went to a local hydraulic line manufacturer or store, you know, custom jobby, and they made me this. This is the 6AN that I need, and this is the piece of the stock line that was on here, and they cut it off and gave me a compression fitting to make one. So I thought that was super cool. And then I asked them to make me a spare of the rubber piece in case I blow one out of the trails. I've got a spare. So, you know, if you're going to be doing this stuff, you might as well try to go the extra mile and make it all right. So that's what I was doing with this. Now let's set that aside. And since we'll be making a mess, I'll grab this big stainless pan that I stole from my father. Try to not make any more mess on this table. I'll put it here. So from my understanding is that the shaft comes out the top like this. Do my best to not play with any of these pretensions on the good box, and just go from there. But to start, I gotta take off this big knot and we'll pull this pivot arm. So let's try that. And if any of you guys are here watching, just let me know in the comments. I just want to make sure I can see them. So. I think that nut is metric. Pretty big. 33 millimeter, maybe? That looks about right. Impact gun. I'm wearing these glasses on my head, so they're all kind of sweaty and nasty. But yeah, clean them up. Safety first, you know. And if you guys are watching this for like the most thrilling series of events, it's probably not that. It's more of just a garage hangout. So that's that. All right. No comments yet. I just want to make sure I don't overlook anything. What are the odds this actually comes off? Secondly, what are the odds that Figgy doesn't freak out from all the noise? Wow, that was nice. Can't go wrong with that. Now for the automotive specific tool drawer. Got my pivot arm puller. Brand new. I think I picked this up from Advanced last time I was hanging around there. And let's see if it actually fits. Nice. Good first step. And since it is brand new, what I'm going to do is I have some never sees up here. And I'm just going to put it on the threads to keep it from maybe getting all gnarled up. Think that's a good idea? Me too. So I have a story from back in the day about these OBS Sport steering boxes. When Blue Top Steering Gear, the guy who I got that box from, started, he originally I think came from Redhead, but he needed stock. So he was given a pretty good deal on cores. And I used to park these trucks out pretty regularly. So I made a deal with him that, you know, if I sent them in bulk, he'd give me a good price on them, and he'd give me a full box of return. So I kept them on hand while I was prepping to make the diesel Bronco. Maybe I collected 6 of them or so. And he ended up sending me a free box. So that worked out pretty well for both of us, I think. And like I said, I've been running that box for a while now. I had a seal leak in it at one point. I fixed that last winter. And, you know, now the steering shaft broke off, but that's kind of my issue. Maybe this pivot arm will come right off. What are the odds of that? Cover your eye, Figgy. Wow. He's got some shots. Sweet. To try and avoid making a massive mess of everything, I'll try to put some tools away as I go. It's alright, baby, you don't have to be scared. You guys got any projects you're working on? This way. I've got a pretty bad habit of just getting every tool I own out at one time. And while that might work for most projects, I don't think it's going to work for this live stream thing where I'm working in one general area. So, yeah, we'll try to avoid that. All right. Now let's turn this over and see what the working on the top just looks like. Also move that old line out of the way some, because I don't want it to make a mess at all, or just get in my way. What are these, 18 millimeter maybe? No, 19? Yeah, one head out, that works. Cool. What's convenient about this project is I told you I replaced the seal on my old box last winter, and it was actually this input seal here. But when I did it, I bought the entire kit. And then I kept the entire kit because I only used one seal out of it. So whenever I go into here, I should be able to, you know, reseal nicely. What do we want to use? A little pry bar figgy, flathead. Anything else good pick? Yeah, maybe we'll give it a tap with a hammer too. Oh, that's loose. Huh. I'm wondering if there's more to this than I think. Oh no. Wow. Maybe there's not so much to this. That seems pretty simple. Get my tools out here so they don't get covered in sludge. And then I think I have a small dead blow that might just be the perfect thing for this job. That's in the hammer drawer. Hammers and things you hit with hammers. That's what lives in there, Figgy. Let's see if we just tap this right out. Wow. Alright, so there's a seal up here, big fat O-ring. What? What? Wonder if there's like a snapper in the bottom of this or something. No. Sorry, Figgy. I'll stop banging on stuff soon. Hello, Bock's Garage family. What's going on, Nick? How are you? It's all right. Come on, lay in your bed. Lay down. We're doing good. How's your family doing? All right. That is, I guess, what I was looking for. Huh. So you got 3 teeth that go and ride on a, I don't know, a rack in there, almost like a rack and pinion type thing. And that's what changes, moves back and forth. I would be willing to bet that's probably some sort of like piston, I guess. So as you go and you move this input steering gear, it must drive that forward and back. And that's what goes and twists this forward and back. So that's not too hard to understand. So, I've got some options ahead of me. Obi out here was a plumber and appliance installer today while working from home. Wow, you're quite the talented individual there. Getting a little bit of everything done. I worked on some stuff today. I had a leak on a water valve for a toilet, and I had an exhaust leak on my heater, kerosene heater in my house. So, yeah, I played a little bit of a house worker too. My question is, this has never been adjusted here. So I'm wondering if I clean this whole thing up, if I should just go throw this right back in to that box and not mess with anything, because that seems like the best way to go about things. Yeah, I agree, Fickies, I agree. So let me set this down over here. And there's a bearing in the bottom, which I don't have, so I'm not doing that. Needle bearing. And there's a seal also, and mine again isn't that old, so I'm probably okay just leaving my seal unless I butcher it. So that seems pretty simple. Okay. Ooh, thank you for the super like, Nick. That is my first super like. Rolling the big bucks now. Piggy, you're gonna be able to eat tonight. That was very nice, thank you. Let me go get rid of this water bottle. That could go there. This could be my discard pile. Let me just dump it in the trash because it's full of rust. All right. This will be where I put my things I no longer need. What are you playing with down there? Trying to think if there's anything else I should need from this. I don't think so. That was pretty easy. All right, let's get this moved aside here. Stock pivot arm. If anyone in the comments needs this, let me know. It's all yours. A little bit of hardware, and yeah, let me. Wondering if I should clean this up while I'm sitting here before we get into the next box, you know? Clean as you go kind of stuff. Same thing we didn't do in the kitchen in college. Clean as we go. We just wait until the end, when there was a million things to clean. Drink the forbidden milkshake. No, surprisingly, this one doesn't have any liquid in it. Probably because it's not from my truck. The one from my truck, all bets are off. Yeah, the reason I'm being a little extra sanitary here is because I don't want to get any gunk in the steering box that I'm reusing, hopefully in the woods. When I pulled it out, I did a good job of eliminating that, but there's only so much you can get. Timmer, are you drinking forbidden milkshakes currently? All right. The woods, a famously sterile place. Yeah. Is everything okay? So there's one hole in the back here that's drilled and tapped. And I'm trying to find the other one. Oh, it's on the back. And speaking of famously sterile, the back drilled and tap hole is full of dirt. So, I guess I'll clean out the dirt before I take it apart. Just the beer? It's not a bad idea. I think I might be having one after this, depending on how late this goes. Picks, I need a pick. Pick collection, thank you, Harbor Freight. After. Yeah, I don't know how long this is gonna go. And I don't know how tasty the beers are gonna be. They're probably gonna be very tasty. And just might end up being like a conflict of interest. You know what I mean? Yeah, this thing having dirt inside of it isn't great. Yeah, you got some of it out. I wonder how the seals would like dirt. Don't fully want to take this all apart. I think that'd be a mess. And yeah, I'll have to see what the best game plan is on that. Maybe some of this stuff. Yeah, the whole, I mean, the tap's a good idea, but what I'm more worried about is like it getting into the fluid inside. And now, like, whenever I start the system up, it's going to pump dirt into something. Because, like, the whole thing's just hydraulically ran. I'm thinking maybe I'll fill it with fluid and kind of, like, give it a little shake and let it drain out after I'm done. I don't know. We'll see. A little brake clean never hurt anything. So that being said, this, looking at the steering box, this must turn, and then there's a, almost like a rack and pinion type of gear where it goes like this way, and there's a high pressure port here, and one here, so depending on which way you're going, it must pressurize one side or the other, and that's what activates the hydraulic ram that assists with turning the tires. And I think that's pretty cool because I never knew how that worked, so that's pretty sweet. Going to the bottom here, I'm afraid this broken steering shaft here might want to cut my seal on the way through. So that may lead to me wanting to replace that seal. I think I've got one, so we'll see. Gotta clean the glasses again. Got a couple people watching. Got 5 currently, we fluctuate. Is anyone watching on a vertical setup, like kind of like shorts? I saw that was a new feature. I didn't know if anyone's actually using it. See that? Oh. So this is blue, and the way they designate what brand steering box it is they paint the top. Blue gets a blue top, red top gets red. I should go paint mine a fun color. Either a neon green, or I do have a can of gold spray paint. So maybe gold is the answer. Let me clean out the bottom too with the swizzle stick before I go introduce all that grime into the system. Sterile. Oh. There we go. Put it on its side is the way to go. All right. What I want to do is not mess with the direction, where this is in relation to where like this one is. Like I want to install this one in the same orientation as this one. I'm afraid if I don't, I may not get my full throw of steering anymore. So I should be pretty alert of how this comes out, and don't play with this once it's apart. So I'm gonna give that a shot now. And if you guys are liking this and enjoying it, be sure to give it a like. Every like helps. I want to spread the joys of working in the garage to everyone that I can. Yeah, it looks like I might be replacing the seal on this. Not great. Not great, not great. I ran out of stuff to hit, so time for a little punch. What are you doing, Miss Bears? You want to go sit inside? Probably should be using a ball peen. Worst diesel engine besides the 6.5, 6.0, and 6.4. Hold on, Biggie. In my opinion, I don't know. Biggies. Shh, it's alright. Lay in your bed. Lay in your bed. The old 7.3s and like 6.9s were gutless, but they would last forever. Same with the 6.5s, kind of gutless like that. Figgy, stop. In terms of reliability, I've seen a lot of issues with the, I heard like the ones in the Nissan Titans were bad, like that 5.0 Cummins. I've heard a lot of mixed things on that. 6.4s were, yeah, you named like pretty much the big ones. Even the new 6.7s, I would love to have one. I wouldn't really want to deal with the CP4 issues and like the upper oil pan gasket leaks. I don't know. I'd still own one though. There's a lot of stuff under that hood though, if you want to work on it yourself. Tough question. I would have to go with, I don't know. I would get a 12 valve any day of the week. I think they're cool. Sometimes I wish I would have put one in the Bronco instead of 7.3. So it wouldn't be that. I've always had good stuff with the Duramaxes. I don't know. There's not really any super or obvious choices to me. But I haven't dealt with a lot of them either. I would probably say the old 6.9s. Because if you're going to go deal with the 6.9, you might as well do this old 7.3 IDIs. And then you put like a sidewinder or turbo kit on it and stuff. So that would be my opinion. Oh, what I didn't take into account was where this thing broke. It's going to go hit the needle bearings inside of here. So hopefully those don't get damaged. Let's see what will come out. All right. Yeah. Okay, there's not really many ways that this goes in, so that keeps it pretty simple. What would you say is your worst diesel engine, besides what you mentioned? And that is why we're fixing the steering box. That is obviously not supposed to happen. Good one, not good one. So I'm going to clean this one up, put it back in there. I might even reuse at least this top O-ring. It looks like there's a nice, like, I don't know, fancy blue material one. This should probably go up on the wall or something. We'll find a spot for that later. But if you look in here, I'll even bring this over for you guys. You can see that straight cut gear. I don't know if it'll focus for you, but that's pretty cool. And then it'll go and move back and forth, and that's what twists your steering shafts up. You learn something new every day. Come on, Piggy, it's all right, you can lay down. I'm going to start cleaning things, so I'm going to get a new rag. Also, in case anyone's a Harbor Freight connoisseur like me, if you go this weekend and are a member, with a purchase, you either get a free rag, a free set of wrenches, small rat set, or a moving blanket, in case anyone was curious. That's alright, piggies. Looks fine to me. Tape it like that banana art thing. No, I'm not. I don't know about that one. Here's that seal that was in there. It's not rubber, it's one of those fancy ones. Tim probably has the name of it. But I'll clean that up. Actually, I got the seal kit here. Let me see if I have a good brand new one. Yes, I do. And the new one's nice and fat too, so I think, you know what, I'll use the new one. The old one can sit there. I guess let's start with cleaning this thing up. I should have a stone in here, like I don't think I have one yet, new shop. But a nice stone would be nice to go clean the space to make sure you're not, you know, have any contamination in there. Yeah. I think I have an inline tranny pump or power steering pump filter. That'd be good if I got any dirt in it. So, something to keep in mind. Just making sure I didn't miss any comments. If you guys get bored of me working on this pump, let me know, and I can go through my favorite hobby of talking crap about electric pickup trucks. As an owner, I'm now allowed to do that. The other electric pickup fans don't like it. Wasn't the 350 Oldsmobile just a 350 V8, like gasser, that they barely converted over to diesel? I completely forgot about those. Yeah, that's a bad one. And 8.2 Detroits. Were they in mid-sized trucks? Or were they actually in like 3500s? Oh, you know what I do have? I have a bristle pad, or a Scotch-Brite pad. I'll use that to clean up this mating surface. What I would recommend if you're doing anything like that, cleaning stuff, just stick a rag in whatever you're doing, and then you won't get debris in there. Scotch-Brite, Phoebe-Brite. There we go. Now we're cooking with fire. I wonder if this thing's like nice and tight. I don't feel any playing it, so better than that one. The 7.3 gasser. The engine itself was great. I think you're referring to my 21F 250. I actually just got rid of it at 99,000 miles. Love the truck, it towed great. And towed the Bronco around nice. I went all the way out to Indiana with it, hit Michigan along the way, Illinois, and I was pulling the Bronco. But before I did that, it was I think last summer, and needed a trans at 67,000 miles. The truck was out of warranty because the gas warranty ended at 60,000 miles. And I called up Ford and I'm like, guys, it's 7,000 miles out of warranty and needs $13,000 in transmission rebuilds and, you know, installation. So they kind of fought me for a bit, and by a bit I mean like 40 days. And hold on a sec. Figgy found a blanket she wants, and I'm going to give it to her because she's being a good sport. You want a blanket? Come on. Yeah. I'm back. So I needed a transmission. They fought me on giving any money towards it. And eventually they agreed to give me like, I don't know, 9, 10 grand. I ended up being 3,500 bucks out of pocket. And I'm like, whatever, it's a fluke maybe, but I talked to the dealership and they're like, yeah, there's like 15 or 20 other Super Duties in front of you that also need transmissions. It's a 10-speed. I'm like, oh, that's not a good sign. So went and put it in, whatever. And then less than a year later, I'm starting to get clunks again in the transmission. I'm like, oh great, this is going to need to be replaced again, which was fine. It was under a 2-year warranty. It would have been free to replace the second transmission. But then I'm driving along, and the AC compressor locked up, middle of June, and I got Karen in the car with me and Figgy, the dog, and it's like 100 and something degrees out. And I'm like, oh, this sucks. So I went and I got like kind of some quotes, and they said, yeah, the compressor locked up, and it probably put metal through the system, and it was between like $3 grand and 3,500 bucks to do the whole AC system. And I'm like, guys, this truck is like 97,000 miles. Like, it's having these massive failures. Like I said, I was gonna need the transmission again. I'm sure I would have waited another month and a half to get them to put a trans in it. I'm like, it just isn't worth it. So I ended up getting rid of it. I went and traded it in. They gave me $40,000 for the truck, which was great. It may not have had a good AC compressor and had a slipping trans, or clunky trans, but whatever. And I spent that money on a electric EV Silverado. The reason I went with that is just because of the price of it. I got it for $49. I couldn't find a comparable pickup, like a gas or a diesel, for that price. And I'm like, let's give it a shot. And the other thing was I was getting killed with gas prices going back and forth to work. I didn't mind driving Super Duty and, you know, having a payment on it or whatever. But when you're also making repairs every couple of months, like big money repairs, I'm like, this is the reason I'm driving a new truck. If I'm going to be making repairs, I'd rather go drive like an old 20-year-old truck that I can do the repairs myself. So, I don't know, I got rid of it. I've read some stuff that maybe the newer Super Duties are a little bit better, like, you know, 24s, 25s, the transmissions got better. But, I don't know, that one kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, but I'm sure I'll be back. The electric truck kind of is a pain when towing because you can only get like 150 miles of range until you need to stop and charge. So, that's that. I won't go into that gripe unless you want to hear about it, because then I will definitely go into it. I heard Dodge is coming out with a truck that's like electric, but it also has an onboard generator. It's supposed to have tow 14,000 pounds and also get like 600 or 700 miles worth of range. And that's unloaded. But loaded, if I get 200-300 miles and then just have to stop and get gas, that's more than fine with me. My Super Duty only got 200 miles of range when I was towing the Bronco. So like, you know, topping off at the gas station isn't an issue for me. I'd never buy a new. I'm going to keep my Chevy 6.0 1500 manual. Yeah, honestly, I don't blame you. For a long time, I drove the Broncos a daily. That was before I got the Powerstroke. Had a 5.0 in it, 6-inch lift, 35s. The other guys in the chat are my college roommates, and I've driven them around in a plenty of times, I'm sure. Yeah, drove it all over upstate New York, and it was great. The only thing, first off, I built it too big to really daily it anymore. And the other thing is I needed like a newer vehicle for work because I was traveling a lot of miles. So I ended up getting on the new train, and that's kind of where I'm stuck for the time being. I put on like 35, almost 40,000 miles a year for work. So. The Scotch Brake's doing a great job cleaning this up. I wonder if there's a torque spec on putting this back together. I'm sure there is, but I'm probably just going to do the Ugga-Dugga method. Yeah, this seal was definitely cut. I think I'm going to see if I have that and replace it. Yeah, the EPA, that's kind of the big deal with the new diesels too, is all the EPA stuff. Like, again, like at 100,000 miles, you're probably looking at putting like a whole EP or a whole DEF system in it. So that's 10 grand, or you have an engine that fails. And it's like, all right, like, that was the appeal of buying diesel back in the day, is that they'd last forever. Now, not so much, it doesn't seem like. So, yeah, I can agree with you there. I'm hoping things change up with the current administration, and that'd be really sick. Yeah, is this the right seal? Is there 2 seals that go in here? Is it the same diameter? Oh, maybe 2 seals. Okay. Oh, I need another drink. Water or... If you guys haven't tried these juice monsters, the apple flavor, you have to try them. They're great. Nothing like a monster. Oh, 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Back to the specialty automotive tool drawer for a seal puller. I don't know if you can see Figgy underneath. She's enjoying the blanket I threw down. I guess I'll put these on my head. Yeah, the emission stuff sucks. What also grinds my gears about that is that a majority of emissions are when a vehicle's manufactured. So you're making these new vehicles, even like the 6.0 was brought in because of 7.3 emissions. It was pushed out like early, and now you got these vehicles that kind of are awful, that are getting replaced at like a consistent rate rather than stuff that lasts. So it's not real, like if you really think about it, it doesn't help things. Hopefully this folding table holds up to the abuse it's about to receive. And I don't crush Figgies. Mechanic self-taught. A lot of it was taught by my dad. He was an industrial mechanic, and he learned a lot of this stuff on like just doing it himself over the years. And then I would just go on the forums and read. Spent a lot of time like fullsizebroncos.com, and now I'm on irate 4x4 a ton. So I watch it there. I watch the stuff on YouTube. Like Dirt Every Day was always a favorite of mine. They always do cool stuff. So I picked some of it up there, but most of it was just practice and watching YouTube videos and for my dad. A lot of just experience too. Just I've been, dealing with these Broncos now for freaking 10 years maybe. How old am I? 27, 28. I got mine at this one at 15. So like 13 years. So some of the stuff on here, like I'm just so used to like doing it and just reading about it and all that stuff. So yeah. Make sure this isn't a snap ring. Let me see how I want to handle this. So the seal puller will probably eventually work. I just want to try to loosen these up, so I'm going to give them a whack with the hammer. See how that does. You got any projects you're working on there? Or probably just your Chevy. What year Chevy with the 6L? Alright, so I'm slowly destroying the bottom seal in here. Cutting through the top now. What I do is I'll cut through the seal body and then I'll peel it out with like a pick or a pair of pliers. Piece number 1's out. Oh, there's a snap ring under this. Okay. So, I'm going to bring this up to the camera and show you guys. Truck's at 01. Said regular maintenance, don't really work on it. Really? You don't really work on it. It's got almost 1,000,000 miles. What year did you get it? And how many miles did you get it with? Well, I've seen this before on this seal. I want to show you guys this. So, let's see if it focuses. On these seals, you see how it's like cut? There's like all these like little cuts here. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure it focuses. Well, that was the same thing that happened on the input seal on this box. And I think what happened is when it was assembled, they just went and they pushed the splines through the shaft, which would make sense. But I think when they're manufactured from the OEM, they have like a cap or something when they push through so that the splines don't slice in and cover up, you know, get this like dust seal. So I don't have the OEM manufacturer's cap, but what I do have is electrical tape. So what I do is I tape up the splines with electrical tape and then like lube them up and push them through, and it'll keep from slitting up the dust cover. So, in case anyone's looking at doing this themselves at some point. All right. Snap ring. My collection of snap ring pliers here. And I know I said I'd stop putting these on my head, but I won't. Highly recommend if you're playing with snap rings to go and put glasses on. A lot of times they'll shoot these across the room. You don't want to catch one in the eye. Blink. See, you almost shot it there. All right, snap rings out. I'll take this dirty rag and I'll clean it up. Cool. And then this is some kind of ruh-roh. This looks like a spacer that I hit with a pick, or with a, I don't know, I think I broke it. It's a spacer, like a washer, and there's a big crack in it from where I was hitting it with the chisel. That's not ideal. And then, I don't know, another seal. What's nice though about having a spare is anything that I broke, I'll take out of that box, and then we'll be good. Oh, your snap ring looks like so. Very cool. Sorry, just keeping an eye over here, make sure there's nothing I'm missing. That's all right, Vicky. Sounds like there might be a vehicle approaching, which might be Ben, so I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in with music blasting and disrupts this a little bit, but that's all right. Seals, the farther in they are, the harder they are to like kind of get to and get out. What was my grandpa's from? Quiet, Piggy, it's all right. Yeah, it's probably Ben walking around. Your grandfather's truck first. Wow, 750,000 miles. Wow, that's very impressive. All right, you want to go outside with her, Ben?
Yeah. Want to bring her out?
Yeah, you want to run around for a bit?
Yeah. Sick. Want some gator bites?
I'm good.
Okie dokies. Oh, that's up there. Come on, Spaz.
Come on. Go ahead, Piggy. You want to go potty? Go potty. Go ahead, Piggy. Go, Piggy.
Come on.
You want to go inside? Come on, go inside. Go inside. Bring her right in.
All right.
Come on.
Are you live?
Yeah. Here, because I'm going to be a bit on that. Right. Go, Piggy. Go inside.
Come on.
Go inside. Come
on.
Come on.
Is that door locked?
Probably. Look at me, I'm like a mind reader. I knew that was going. Norm. Vicky will be much more happy inside. 3/4 of a mile, 3/4 of a million miles is nuts. That's very impressive. Ooh. And that's a seal. Again, I probably should have had my glasses on for that one too, but I test. Yeah, this should be pretty good. The only thing I'm concerned about is that dirt that got in the box. But like I said, I'll flush that, and hopefully that'll be good. If not, hopefully the filter will pick it up. The needle bearings feel good in here. the screwdriver, take another wipe in there. Yeah, there's a lot of like just like debris right under where that seal was. Huh. I guess that's maybe where we get trapped in the power steering system. Right at the edge of the seal. I had a bunch of pumps that have failed over the years. So maybe that was it. Very strange. The pumps that were failing though were stock Ford pumps. They didn't like all this high, heavy usage stuff. Yeah, needle bearings seem good. Alright. So now let's go put these seals back in. Super sweet having these new seals. The only thing I would like to do is I'll put a little bit of this red tacky grease on them on the inside, the sealing lip, so they'll seal nice. I don't need to do that though until they're in. But what I like to do is I'll go find a socket that fits them nicely, and then I'll just tap them in. Ooh, I think I found my lucky socket. I think the most important thing with putting in seals is make sure you start them straight, because if you get them all cocked right off the bat, it's just going to fight you the whole way. You're likely going to ruin the seal. So, just an FYI, as I cock it right off the bat. Sometimes you can recover it a little bit though if you just tap the other side. Alright. It's kind of hard on this table because it's springy. I should get a nice workbench for next time I do something like this. But when you're seating a seal, you can almost hear like a thud once you get it all the way down. You're not going to feel it or hear it on this because, like I said, the whole table bounces. But it's something to look for if you're doing it yourself. Alright, I think that's in there. Wasn't 100% sure. I'm going to give it another whack. Okay. Now to do the dust boot. You don't want to be hammering on the edge of the boot because you're going to ruin it. So make sure you get a socket that doesn't touch that. This one looks to be good. So I'm going to go send it home. Oh, no. Can't put that in because you have to put the snap ring in. Right? It was dust boots, snap ring, seal. Let me check this other one. Oh no, spacer that I broke. The spacer that I broke has to go back in. And do I use the broken spacer or do I try to pull apart the other box? I think if we're doing this, we might as well try to do it correctly, and I should pull apart that other box and get a non-broken spacer. You guys can see here, that shouldn't be like that. I think I broke it. So I will go and try to get a different one. Alright, this side will move to here. This is why we keep the discard pile easily accessible. If you guys are enjoying this, leave a like, really appreciate it. Also, let me know if you want to see something like this again, or if you'd rather me just make this into like a video. So, I'd like to know going forward. Huh. This one doesn't look to have a spacer. Oh, but it is full of fluid that now dumped into this thing. Huh. I think I might end up just having to reuse that spacer. It's not going to be an issue with it, because it's held in with a snap ring. Yeah. Yeah, I'll check to see if this one has one, but I don't think there's one in there. It does bleed. It bleeds bad. This must be like an outdated design. The snap ring is full of rubber in the holes, the eyelets. So I gotta kind of clean them out before I get my pliers in there. Not the seal puller. Trying to just clear out this rubber to get out from under the snap rings. The joys of dealing with stuff that hasn't been touched for 25 years. It's all just melted together. Almost time to take a break from trying on this. Yeah, so it's on top of this rubber seal, and the seal's like melted through the snap ring. First I've ever really seen that. Give it a few more minutes. See if I get it out. If not, I'm using the broken washer. Luke, where are you at right now? Virginia? Alright, I've kind of peeled the seal away. Now I will try to pull it out with a pair of pliers. See if I can get to the snap ring. I'd like to show you guys a little closer up this, but it's kind of a pain to work, get all greasy, and move the camera, so you just gotta take my word for it. Bent my pick. That always means you put the goggles back on. If we get a screwdriver behind this thing when it's moved out, maybe just A-okay. Honestly, if I had a really tiny drill bit, I could probably go and clean the snot out of each of those holes. Ooh, I might be in luck. Oh, that's sick. That'll work. New impact gun, or a 4-inch impact. First time really using it on anything. To drill rubber out of the snap ring. I will say that's a first for me. Oh, I think that might have worked. Yeah. It's not stupid if it works. Sick. All right. Now let's get this seal out of the way. And see if this has that spacer I need. okay. The seal, I think the seal is molded to the piece of spacer material. Okay, so that's just like this. Huh. That one that I took out was different. So that makes things make more sense. I don't actually need a spacer, and I don't use a dust cover that goes over the top of it all, over the snap ring. I use this seal that goes underneath, and then the snap ring goes over it. Blue Top must have used a different design, and that's where the confusion comes in. So, all right, guess I'm good. Didn't actually need to go do that apparently, but it's good to figure it out. Should probably clean this up quick before we get going again. Got a bag from Harbor Freight. I should be good to put rags in, I think. Oh, it's got holes in it. A garbage can. Actually. I've got garbage bags. That way I can go and tie it off and it won't leak oil everywhere. Thank you guys for staying tuned. For this I can use all my old shitty rags, not waste all my new ones. I will say, this is probably the least thrilling project I probably could have done live, but it's a pretty good test bed. I think this would be a fun concept, like if I was building bumpers or sliders, kind of take you through the process of why I designed them the way I did, and then the actual fab work. But everything's not glorious like that. Sometimes it's just silly stuff like this. Cool. Now we're clean. All right. Back to our good box. And time for a fresh rag. So, it was a massive detour, but we're back to where we were. The seal now has to go in. Yeah, pretty simple there. Really all she wrote. Alright. Since we've got a new snap ring, we might as well use a new snap ring. That's the one. What I was using were, I'll use same pliers. These are just Harbor Freight Icon pliers. Went on sale at some point. Picked them up, they were good. Is anyone watching on a vertical format? Very curious to see that. I set it up to do that. Snap rings in, but it needs to be pushed down into place. Give it a little tap tap. You'll probably hear it. Oh, that was half. That was the whole thing. All right, cool. I like to go take a screwdriver. I just like to make sure it's fully seated all the way around. In. I've got my little bit of red wheel bearing grease. I'm going to go stick that right on the seal and a little bit on the dust seal. Maybe I'll even get some on the bearings too. And needle bearings that are in here. Cool. The steering box will like that. So as for that, I think we're ready for install there. When I spoke to Blue Top about doing this, they said to make sure you clean up the shaft here where it goes and rides on the seal. So I'm going to take my Scotch-Brite and do that. And then I'm just going to clean up the top here where it seals up top. Other than that, I don't think I'm going to do anything else because this box seemed fine. And, you know, I'm not going to complicate things, nor do I have the parts for it right now. A little low ring. So, let me push this over, and let's start cleaning this up. I'll probably go and maybe take a wire wheel too, and I'll clean up these splines and the threads. I wish I had a benchtop wire wheel. I do not have one yet, but that's on my Christmas list. So maybe I'll be picking one of those up sooner than later. With these Scotch-Brites, you don't have to worry about over sanding too much. They leave a nice finish. One of the reasons I like using them. Also been debating getting some Box Garage merch if anyone's interested. Maybe we'll go pick up some hoodies. More or less just for me, so I can stop wearing this hoodie because I've already worn holes in it. But yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't know if this was rust or if this was paint here at some point, but that's getting cleaned off too, so that's cool. Keep at it. Maybe when I'm wire wheeling it, I'll go touch up the top too. Then I'll paint it. Got gold paint. I think it's. Oh, maybe I'll make it red. I don't know. Red or gold? You guys let me know in the comments. Six people watching me polish my shaft. Must be a new record. Good, a little bit coarser on Scotch-Brite. In this drawer I keep all of my grinding and consumables. So flat wheels, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's doing a better job. Cleaning that right up. Cool. Almost there. Then maybe either tomorrow or Sunday, I will go and install this in the Bronco. Should be pretty sick. The stuff's still coming off, so I'm going to give it another second here. A little more polishing. Wow. So I'm pretty much everything where I'm polishing is past the seal. Hold on, let me move Figgy's blanket. So what I've been polishing is this paint that's down here, but you could actually see where the seal rode, and it cut into this draft a little bit. Not worried about that, but I'm here, so I might as well just clean it up as much as I can. All right. Now to get the wire wheel out and just clean up these threads and these splines. Maybe this top portion up here as well. I'd like to do that maybe off on camera. Maybe I'll do it right over here. Let me grab the extension. Let me see how long my cord is. Oh, my wire wheel. I might have just enough. I plugged it on my bench over here. Yeah, I think just enough. I've been harping on safety goggles. Definitely a place where you want to wear safety goggles. Splines, threads, top. Sorry for the noise. I wanted to spend so much time polishing those threads up, and that's because I bought a piece from Solo Motorsports, and it's a little extension on the bottom, keeps your Pittman arm on, but then it gives you a spot where you can mount a 3/4 inch hem joint on the bottom of the steering shaft, and then go tie it into your frame. And what that does is it allows you to put the steering shaft in, what's the term I'm looking for? Double shear. So single shear is when something's connected on top, and then you have your pivot arm that I put over here on the bottom. So it's like here, and it's got a lot of force, and it can twist this whole thing back and forth. What I'm going to do is this arm's going to be here, and then it's going to be captured on the bottom as well, and it's not going to be able to torque anymore because now it's captured in two spots, and it should avoid this happening. So, with that being said, I want to go and clean these threads up as nice as possible so I get as good of a connection as possible and keep this thing locked in all as one unit. But yeah, it looks good now. I'm just going to spend a few seconds cleaning up the top here. I'll throw some paint on that, make it look pretty. No reason to put cruddy looking parts on the truck. Cool. That's that. All cleaned up. Thread splines cleaned up. And some a little bit of brake clean, and we're putting it back in. I think what I'll do is I'll tape it up at the end of this, paint it, because I know if I paint it now, it's just going to get handled all night and come out awful. Also, this is a sealing surface, so I want to go and hit this with the Scotch-Brite. Most of the time putting this stuff together is just prep work. So, that's just all it is. How's everyone else's Friday night going? Let me use the coarser Scotch-Brite. Make sure this thing is perfect. Right. Do a little brake clean. Just puts it over here. Nothing like brake clean and Monster. Just what the doctor ordered. Cool. All right. I had mentioned, I don't want to put this in with these lines exposed because it's going to cut up my dust cover. So hopefully I have a thing of electrical tape sitting here. I'm sure I do. Wow, you even got one that's open. So what I like to do is tape up these splines, and that will protect my dust cover. The one that failed on this box previously, like I said, the dust cover failed, and I didn't let it in water, and then it was in the middle of winter, and it froze. And it pushed the seal out of the way and allowed fluid to get by. And my dad and I have a theory that if I would have just let the truck warm up, it would have melted the ice and the seal would have like resealed. But, you know, it's hindsight. Cool. That's that. I'll flip this bad boy over. Take out this rag. Give it a once over up top here, just to make sure there's nothing else sitting in there. Probably could have left the rag for that, but that's okay. Yeah, I think we're all right. And then I'm gonna break out some more of this tacky stuff and lube up my seal and lube up my shaft. That could go right in there. Perfect. And then this is the other part that I'll lube. And just so it slides by real nice without damaging anything. And like I said, it doesn't look like there's many ways for this to go back together. There's 3 teeth on this and 3 slots over there. So, it's gotta be it. Shaft is in, all right. That seal is pretty tight. Happy I put some lube on it. But hopefully I can just go tap this in. Wow. Everything is tight. Probably just going for those needle bearings, so a lot of tape on there. Stand it up, see if it'll go a little nicer that way. There we go. Is it hitting out the bottom yet? Nope, not yet. I think that calls for a bigger dead blow. Good idea to use dead blows on stuff like this. It doesn't mar up the metal that you're hitting on, or at least to the extent that it would if you're using like a you know, ball beam. Anyone want to take odds on me folding this table in half? Thank you, Luke, for the words of encouragement. I will try that next. Whoa. We're getting there. Then the key's going to be lining this up with the gears inside once it gets there. All right, we're getting there. Yeah. Oh, you can move those with the steering shaft, which is nice. All right. I'm so slippery. Yeah. Jim, I think you're probably right. This thing will either be completely fine or need to be completely replaced. I wonder if I put too much tape on the splines. We'll see. Yeah, Tim, you're definitely right. Normally I would go put this on the wood bench, but for this setup it's kind of hard. It's like in the corner. However, I might have to move this there for a second. There we're going. All right, this is going to move to the side for a sec. And hopefully it won't drop it on the floor. Nick, thank you for the super. Yeah, still going. All right. We're getting there. It's moving along, slowly but surely. My hammer is covered in oil and likes to slip away. All right, shaft is starting to come through. Got a roll of duct tape here. I'm going to try to put this on to hold it while the shaft's like coming through. It's going. Slowly but surely. I should have a rag and wipe that off again. All right, hopefully a few more hits will be good. I need a bigger work holding because I'm through my thing of duct tape. However, I think I have a second roll of duct tape. Perfect. Yeah. It's like it was made to be. There we go. Good as new. And the thing of duct tape got stuck on it. All right. Who's taking bets on this thing actually working now? Got my 2 bolts. They have Loctite on, so I'll throw some Loctite back on them. Do I have more Loctite? I thought I did. Super glue. Hold on, let me look around for a second. Actually, thread sealant and blue Loctite all in one. I think that's what's going to be going on. So, that should work. I'm going to use the wire wheel again, clean off this bolt. And rather than launch it across the room, I have vice grips. Because I've been there and launched many bolts across the rooms already. Alright, it's 1 cleaned. Here's 2. right. New thing of the red locker. Shouldn't have put my knife away because I need to cut this open. Sick. How many Ugga Duggas should this get? All of them. The reason I bought this sealant and lock is that I gotta go put these footings back in for my hydro assist. And they look like they had all kinds of goop on them to begin with, so I thought that might not be a bad idea. All right. Good enough for me. Oh, wow. You can see where this tape pounded through. Oh, that might not be great. Some of that tape got peeled off coming through. That's why I had to pound the shit out of that. I wonder if that's going to be an issue. Because now it's all inside. Probably my bearings. That's not great. I should possibly take this all back apart and take that out. Because if I don't do it now, I'm probably going to have to pull it back out of the truck to do it. Let me undo this tape and see how bad it really is. There's a pretty good amount that went missing inside of there. Wonder if that ends up going into the bearings or whatnot. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to worry about that. A little bit of tape. I don't know. I think it's fine. All right. So what I want to do now. Fuck. mostly metal parts. I think it'll end up eating up the tape that's in there. Alright, I'll leave that be. I'm gonna go fill this back, I think, with fluid. Rinse it out a time or two. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. I'm only gonna put those fittings on. I'm still debating. Yeah, I'll leave it be. I'm gonna clean up these fittings, put those on there, and then I'll have a fully built box, and I'll go test it out a bit, make sure it doesn't leak, and I think I'll be good with that. What I'll do is I'll order a new reseal kit, and then if it leaks, I can go rebuild it quick. What I'm worried about though is if I take it apart, I'm gonna go mess up these seals, if they aren't messed up already, and that's gonna end up being a mess. But that being said, I'm gonna run the wire wheel again quick, and put these fittings in, and probably get good to calling that good. Get close to calling that good. Yeah, Jim, you're probably right. Yeah, I'm here. Let me do it quick. Probably the best move. I think that is a good one. The wrenching, I don't know. This actually, I might not get a wrench out at all on this. So this is clean. Let's cover it wire wheel debris. Set this aside. Got a handy light. Oh wow. So all of that stuff, that tape that came off, was more or less shaved off by the bearing. There's a needle bearing in there. I'll hold it up so you guys can see it. But all the tape that got stuck is just right there, right on the top. And that's exactly why I had to go and do that hammering. Good call, Jim. That's all that's tape. All right. I put it together without tape. Screw the dust shield. I just want to make sure there's not any left. Yeah, there's a little bit more in here. No, good point. Definitely a lot easier now. I didn't run out, Luke. I'm saving that for the after party. Maybe one of these angled picks. I'll be able to get it out better. Yeah, it would have been better just putting it together without the tape, but you live and learn. There's just a little bit stuck right at the top. Stand by as I pick it all out of here. Sponsored ad, huh, Kara? Kara, are you inside or are you still at your grandparents'? Still getting more tape. I wonder if I push the bearing out of position at all with like hammering on it with the tape. Probably not. You're driving in the rain. It's not raining here. Yeah, you are a loyal subscriber. More tape. You love hanging out with me in the garage so much, you want to do it from your phone too, huh, Kara? I'll have to check and make sure that snap ring's not out of position too, because it looks like that bearing moved just a little bit. Like it's not bottomed out the way I would expect it to be. And then by the things I beat the snot out of that with a hammer. See you soon. Alright, drive safe. Oh, there we go. We're getting the rest of the tape out. Little by little, we're getting it all. What I will do too is I'll send a rag through it to make sure nothing moves. The snap ring's still in place, so that means for the most part the bearing didn't move far enough to put it out of position. So I'm happy with that. Let me send a clean rag through, get any remnants. Drive fast and take chances. Yeah, that's true. We'll probably end up eventually taking out seals, I'm sure. No, that was a very good move. I'm definitely going to have to go through and change out the filter on this power steering system after rebuilding this. Just in case any dirt got in here or whatever. Maybe I'll run it around the house for a little bit. And then, you know, change out the filter. Yeah, lots of those little pieces of tape. Now there's fuzzies in here. All right. Just want to do a last check, make sure there's nothing else in here. I think we're good. Check the bearing. The bearing still feels good after I beat the snot out of it. I think so. I don't think that bearing takes a lot of, it's not like it spins like an axle, so I don't think it takes too much abuse. Do my light look in there one last time. So one or two more pieces left. Little remnants. All right, that should be good. I think I'm just gonna skip the tape and not worry about the dust cover. Or maybe I'll just tape the end right where it's smallest, just so it's got a, so it won't cut. Right, that looks good. Put a little bit of this on there. Cool. Been doing a pretty good job of keeping this thing with grease not covered in it, and that time I got a little on there, so not great. This goes in like that. Yeah, that's probably the way that's supposed to go in there. Yeah, definitely, if you have to beat the snot out of that to go in, there's an issue. So, happy we got to learn that together. All right. Put a little more thread locker on this. This one. All right, I guess the thing is, if you want to go use some tape to protect your dust boot, just put a little on the end. Don't wrap the whole shaft like I did. That was a dumb mistake. I'll probably just leave that on there so I don't ding it up when I'm putting it in the truck. Now, what I think I want to do is set this up like here and get a little funnel and fill this rear cavity with oil and just try to flush it out a time or two. I just bought some power steering oil or fluid, and I think I have little tiny funnels that I can use to put in there. Okay, so I got this one. That fits in there. Oh, you know what I think I might try to use? My specialty fixture. That might come in handy for this to hold this. Ah, ta-da. Maybe just one. Perfect. Yeah, and I'll fill this with fluid. and then I will dump it out. A time or two, just to make sure that none of that dirt got inside. Make me feel a little better about it. And then I'll put on the fittings, and I think we're good to go install this tomorrow. You know, I'll throw some black paint on this maybe. Right, put that in there. Move these two so I don't cover them in oil any worse than they already are. And what I will do is I'll pour it onto a rag to see if there's any dirt that comes out of it. Well, that's a good one. Good seal. I don't want to pour too much in because I don't want to wash any dirt into the freaking thing any further. Yeah, I got a little couple granules of dirt. Nothing crazy though. Do this a time or two just to feel good, and then we'll seal it up. Cool. Definitely a little bit of dirt in there though. Funnel. All right, that looks like it's full. It's not taking any more. Let's see if I can dump this in a graceful fashion. Sure. Let's see if I can hold it at a better angle to get dirt and shit out. Oh yeah, got some dirt on that one. That was a good one. I'll do that one more time, and then I'll see if I can pull you guys over to see it. That was well worth the effort, though. All right, let's do one more time. You put too much in, it starts to come out the other hole. Oh, it's starting to leak at the back here. All right, let's see if we got any more. Set like this. Let it fully drain. Hopefully that won't go anywhere. I will wipe my hands, and then I will show you guys the dirt that came out of it. Actually going to get a good wipe. Something to hopefully get the oil off me. These Gojo scrubbing towels are pretty sweet. They do a very good job. before I touch my phone and the tripod and everything and get everything nasty. All right, let's see if I can do this without dropping anything. So here's my little workspace. And if you see right there's the dirt that came out. Again, not a lot, but it's enough to say it was worth flushing a little bit. So, all right, I'm gonna put this back up here and try to get you recentered to where you were and not crooked. Something like that, I think. Sure. Very cool. All right. So, I think that means we're pretty close to good. I make a spot over here to put this. Too many things. Use these rags to clean up over here. Use this rag to clean up the tape. Lay this out. Try not to get oil on my computer. Alright, there's no dirt that came out that time, so that's good. Cool. Get that garbage bag again. Clean this spot up. And then we'll be ready to put those last couple pieces in. There. Put the funnel in the side piece to drain. Wipe up all this fresh oil. Actually quite a bit in there. Put the cap on this so I can use this for tomorrow when I install it. Two more rags and that should be it. All right. Really, that wasn't too bad of a job to do. If I would have known I was rebuilding it from the get-go, I probably would have been a little bit more careful where I laid it when I pulled it out in the woods, but live and learn. I didn't think it would be that easy to go and rebuild it. So, there's that. Alright, so here's the box. First fitting hole's right here. I'm going to run this rag in there just to make sure it's kind of dryish. Maybe put a little brake clean on this. I'll put that thread lock stuff in there. This is downward. Yeah, that's the output shaft there, so I kind of want my fitting facing that way when it's all said and done. I'm sure if you face it the wrong way, it'd be a real pain. Or probably impossible to get a hose on there. I I'm interested to see with my new hoses coming off my power steering box if I'll have an improvement in performance, because there's going to be less, like a bottleneck with all those different fittings I had to use. Right. Let me hit this fitting quick with the wire wheel. Oh, this is Teflon tape on here, it looks like. Huh. Do I have any Teflon tape here? Still pretty new to this shop, so I don't have everything kind of lined out. I know I have Teflon tape, but I think it's inside because I was using it for plumbing stuff. That's alright, I got that thread sealant. I think that'll be more than good. More than good. Alright, let me hit this with the wire wheel. And you know what? I've got the full sport, I should probably just use the vice grips to hold it while I'm doing this. But no reason to go catch my finger now after being good all night. Squeaky clean. Do my best to avoid any kind of contamination on that thread sealant. And now I've dumped a whole bunch of it on here. I maybe should have gotten a bigger tube. Alright. Don't remember offhand what size that is, so I'll get a little adjustable wrench. Hopefully I have one more full revolution I get out of this thing. It's gonna be close. I grabbed the steering shaft, it was covered in oils or grease. I would have been smart if I grabbed maybe just a slightly bigger adjustable wrench. But there we go. We're in. Let me do the same thing to the one that had the dirt in the hole. And then I think we're good other than just throwing a quick coat of paint on top of this thing. So, How do you guys like a video like this compared to just putting it all together in a 10-minute video? Something to do? Or just not? Wow, that's dirty. Cool. I think that's cleaned. I just need to find another 90-degree fitting. Here it is. I will also clean this one up with the wire wheel. Safety first. That one's all cleaned up. Squirt a little brake clean through it. Oh, tasty. Nom, 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 nom. Let that dry for a second. Run this rag into this hole one last time. And then I think we're pretty close to good. Whole thing's covered in oil. That paint's not going to want to stick on top of this, but whatever. Better than rust. Right, that's good. Alright. May cause allergic skin reaction. Good to know. That'd be a little overkill on this. I don't want this to leak. Way overkill, maybe. Potentially. And the other ones is right on the back here. I never really knew how, I mean, I guess, I don't know, I didn't really know how these worked. I knew the general idea of like high pressure came out of each one of these ports. Didn't really know why, so it was kind of cool to open this up and get a glimpse at it. Yeah. Gotta stand this box up so I don't go yam on the threaded edge. And this is also going to want to point down so you get your access to it. So maybe I'll take one more half turn. I wouldn't be surprised if I went through the middle of this table. Needs a little bit more. Cool. That's in. We have a new box. No, not new box, but repaired box. So sweet. I guess let me clean up the top. See what color paint I got sitting over there. Make it rust proof, and that's gonna be that. Not bad for a Friday night. Will you stand there nicely? Ooh. Is that sketchy? A little bit. Where's that thing tape? This might make it slightly less sketchy. Maybe I'll put on this rag so I try not to ruin my tape with any oil residue on the bottom here. I don't know. Good enough. I'm going to try my best to not get any brake clean on my thread lock there, nor do I want to touch it. I want to do my best to let that seal real nice. Get the oil residue off here. Anyone got any fun plans for the rest of the night? All right. What are the odds that blue painter's tape's gonna stick around any of that? Let me get a rag, clean my hand again, because now I'm oily again. Just a piece I just want to cover the thread blocker that's drying. Cool. All right, let's see. We got black spray paint. Semi-gloss, maybe? Ooh, flat. I don't want flat. Gloss clear. That's not what I'm looking for. Hammered. No, that's Ben. I don't really want flat black. It's gonna look like crap. Automotive primer. Orange marking tape. What is this? Clear aerosol lacquer, clear gloss. That's not helpful either. Hammered. Maybe we'll go hammered. This isn't gonna freaking go on my logo. Can't believe I don't have a can of black here. Yeah, flat black it is, I think. things will be covered with oil so quickly, it's not even gonna matter. If it even sticks. So, cool. Go and give that a minute or two to tack up. I'll throw another coat on it. And then, tomorrow I'll be installing it, maybe tomorrow or Sunday. I'll throw a rag over these ports so we don't get anything in there. Ooh. Got a Fresca. Wow. Ah. You guys got any questions on anything else? Other than that, I'm probably gonna get wrapping it up soon once this paint sticks or dries, you know, packs up. Appreciate you guys for watching. Hope you had fun. Definitely cool, different experience doing it with like people kind of watching. Got some really cool input from you guys, and thanks Jim for the thoughts on pulling that back apart. That was a good idea. Thank you Nick for the super likes, and thanks for anyone else watching. Super thick. What's the actual time here? It says 11:09 on my computer, but I think that's wrong. I don't have a clock in here. Oh, while this is drying, I'll go back over this because I think a lot of you missed it at the beginning. This was my collection of hoses that came off my Saginaw pump, my high pressure power steering pump. And it goes under the pump. It would have a joint here. Then here's an adapter that went to something different. So you're looking at 1, 2, 3 different connections, all potential leak points. And then it would go down to a hard line to my Hydro Boost unit. And one thing I noticed was it was pretty thin, or pretty restricted in a few areas here. And I thought that might be affecting my performance coming off that Saginaw. And also give me a lot of opportunities for leaks. So I went out to a custom hydraulic line manufacturer, and he replaced this whole piece at the end here with this, and just a little bit extra line. So gives me a lot less opportunities to leak. And then we reused the hard line from the stock Ford application. And so that should be really cool. This will wrap up nicely around my Hydro Boost. So I asked him, like, hey, if I get another one of these lines, can you make me up a second hose so I get a spare? And he goes, yeah, we could. Or if you want, odds are this won't leak because it's a hard line. I can just go make you a second hose with a compression fitting. So you can reuse your hard line, and then, you know, you have all this end, this here. So in case you melt this or whatever, it breaks, it leaks. So I'll keep this in the truck, and then put this one on. So I thought that was super cool. Nice little local family place. And for the 2 hoses, they charged me $60, which I thought was really cool. They had them done in about 20 minutes. So can't go wrong there. Yeah. Alright, this needs one more coat. Huh. Speaking of the devil, I think that's Kara that just pulled in. Maybe, if we're lucky, she'll stop in. But once she does, I'll probably wrap it up and we'll be done. But I'll wait for her. I'll wait for her door to open. I'll yell for her to come in. Kara! Kara! She's still in the car. All right, guys, I appreciate you watching. I think I'm going to call it quits here. Wrap it up, go hang out with her. But, yeah, new shaft, all put in on live video, so that's kind of cool. So, any comments or questions in the future, anyone watching this, let me know. Be happy to help the best I can. And stay tuned for more wheeling and some other stuff. Got some cool videos coming up. Thanks again for watching. It's now time for a brewski, I think. How do I make it end? Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yes. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.